So, Swarm ended up being a freaking lot. It was worth the watch. 7 episodes in total. Most episodes were between 30 and 35 minutes. After watching the whole thing, I see how they tied in true events with these actors and stuff. I didn't even realize the daggone investigator was Wumi. Is her name Wumi Falhorn? No, I know a Wumi Falhorn. Her name Wumi. I can't think of her last name right now, but she played Journey Smollett's sister in Lovecraft Country, and I kept in her scenes, the episode that she was in, I kept looking at it thinking, I know this lady. What I see her playing before? And I'm thinking back to something old from years ago, thinking she played in something that somebody's grandmother, but it's the one who played in Lovecraft Country. She's a really good actress. Um, Small. Drea was touched, and I mean literally and figuratively. I think when she was in the foster care system, and maybe before she got there, some things happened to make her the way she was, and she became fixated on her foster sister, which was Marissa. She became fixated on her, and she also became fixated on Queen Naja. And I watched this whole movie, and her keep saying, "Don't you like Naja? Don't you like Naja?" to people and stuff like that. And then towards the end, they started referring to her as Queen Naja. And I kept saying, why it sound like I heard that before? Because it is a for real Queen Naja that started on YouTube with her first. Was her and that guy married, or they were just boyfriend and girlfriend? And they had a son together, and they broke up, and she got with another guy named Clarence. And she been doing her thing in the music world lately. But yeah, but Swarm, Andrea, Dre, then becomes Carmen, becomes Kayla, becomes Tony. She was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and it's so crazy that she she lived in the world inside her head. And I say that about myself sometimes, but I don't be out here standing and doing the things that she doing. How about the scene where they had the guy who was like supposed to be in the beehive? He had his whole Ivy Park jumpsuit on the burger when she came out with that burgundy and orange collection. Anyway, Drea just kept getting herself caught up in some stuff. She went to go and kill somebody named Alicia. Ended up meeting a guy that was working with Queen Naja's husband, Cache, and befriended him and didn't kill that woman that she was going to go kill. Got into the concert or whatever, the last night of the concert. Locked the guy who got her in the freezer with the cake. Made it into the room with the after party with the Queen Naja, Cache, and their entourage. And we see her pick up a fruit or whatever off the cart. And she gets to eating it, and she has a fixation with food after she killed people. But she eating it, stuff in her mouth. Next thing you know, people screaming like she bit her. So we are seeing it through her eyes, what she thinks she's doing, but actually not seeing everything that she's actually doing in reality. Because apparently she went up to her and bit her. She turns around, runs out, and these two boys on the back smoking. And they're like, yo, didn't that look like Sanaa Lathan? Because when Tiffany Haddish came out with that story about somebody biting Beyonce on the cheek, people assumed it was Sanaa Lathan. Now, she's never confirmed nor denied that it was her, but they threw that up in here. Then we see her on the road. She going to, what the name of that show was? Rosacea, Rose, something. But really, Bonnaroo is what it was called. But it was Coachella, really. A creepy cop pulls her over because she swerves, driving because she falling asleep at the wheel. He pulls her over. She pulls into a get, pulls her over. Telling her, you staying here, you staying there, and like lustfully looking at her. I said, well, he gonna try to force himself on her when he follows her to the hotel. But she pulls into a gas station slash convenience store, goes in. Some girl in the store befriends her, goes out to the policeman, and it's like, I see you watching her, this young black girl, whatever. So that scares him. He leaves. She invites Dre to come to the house with her and her friends. They know people that's going to the concert. To the festival. And they can get, because she didn't even have no tickets. So they like, we can get you in or whatever. So she go stay with them. They doing stuff like going on hikes in the crack of the morning. So it's not no light out. It's pitch black. So it's probably about 4 in the morning. By the time they hike, almost make it back, it's light out. She's still in her phone. They talking about we sisters, we this, we that. Then the leader, I forgot what her name was, but in real life it was Billie Eilish. She says you're gonna do meditation. She like cool. It wasn't no meditation. It was a counseling session, and she hypnotized Dre. Because every time she was snapped, that's what she was hypnotizing her. What's your name? Kayla. And then Dre started telling all her business, saying her real name, talking about how she killed them other people and all that kind of stuff. So now these people know your real T. She, meanwhile, they done took her fucking phone, so she don't even realize what day it is. They say it's an easy day, it's spa day. They go to the spa, everybody naked except for Billie Eilish. And when she starts to pull her robe, whatever it was there, she see everybody got these symbols burnt, and it's not even a tattoo. It looked like a brand, like they've been branded with these symbols, different parts of their body. They tell me we are all one. You give, we take, when we give and you take. Meaning that whatever you say here, we all know it. We all bonded by our secrets and stuff like that. She wasn't feeling it. She was trying to leave that. She was like, "Where's my phone?" She went to go pack up to leave. Still ain't have her phone. They trying to make her stay. We know, I know what it was. One of the girls even called her by her real name. And she under the impression that when I talk to you alone, you're not going back and spreading my tea to the rest of the women. But no, yes, she did. So they called her by her real name, and that pissed her off. So she was like, I'm out of here. They said, you can't leave. We know your real tea. We can tell on you and all this and that. And it was the day of the concert. She was missing the fucking concert. They lied. They was not close to the concert. The concert was a whole hour or so away from where they was. And they were saying by the time we make it there, it's going to be over. She was trying to leave. They weren't trying to let her leave. She got in that car, and she had noticed a day before, so she had blood in her backseat from a kill or something. They cleaned the car out, so they already knew her too. They cleaned her car out. She gets in the car. She like, give me my phone. They all stand there in front of her. Billie Eilish is standing there in front of the car like, you not leaving. She hit that fucking pedal so quick, hit the gas, ran that ass over, backed up, ran her over some more, said, give me my fucking phone. So the girls, they gave her, did they give her her phone? I don't think they did. I don't think she ever got a phone. Yes, they did. They gave her her phone. They gave it to her. Somebody latched onto the roof of the car or whatever, and at some point she got and killed them and went on about her way. The phone, there's something wrong with it. She takes it to an authorized mobile dealer or whatever for whoever the service provider was. And there was this guy that be on social media. His name Ricky something. But he played the store clerk that was supposed to help her. And he was like, this phone been cut off by the owner, which was uh, Marissa's father. At this point, in the beginning, they said that they were sisters. So I'm thinking, so y'all got the same mom and father? Is that what it is? So he was like, the only thing you can do is go, I can call him and ask them to turn it back on and all that. But she wanted to save the phone because what she was doing was, with her phone, she texted Marissa and getting Marissa's phone and texted herself back. Fucking creepy and weird. She texted and responded to herself as if she's Marissa. And it's like videos in there from when they went to the concert together and had a good time and stuff like that. So she heads back to Texas, where they from, and I guess she thought she was going to go to Marissa's parents' house and get the mother to turn the phone back on for her. So she arrives, she gets in this house. At this point, we don't know who house it is. When she get in, we see all these pictures of Marissa as a girl with her parents, and it looked like somebody's picture was cut out of the pictures and stuff. And this is when we find out that she actually was a child that they fostered. They wanted they wanted Marissa to have a sibling, so they fostered somebody that was the same age as her, and she got made fun of and bullied at school by Marissa's friends for being weird. At this point, y'all know what I think is wrong with Dre or Drea. I think she was on the spectrum. That's what I really think. Yeah, some bad things happened in her past and stuff, but I also think that she probably was on the spectrum, and then her fixation on Marissa and this Queen Naja just took her over the edge. But at one point, Marissa's mother gave her a sleepover. At the sleepover, she bit. Yeah, I think that's what she did. She bit, or even she stabbed. No, she stabbed the white girl that was friends with Marissa. And they had to pay that girl's medical bills and all that stuff. And the father was like, "Oh hell no!" And he sent her back to the foster care place. And the father was played by Leon. He was crazy. She found a gun in the house, and she had the gun on the mother, saying, "You want to turn the phone back on?" He came downstairs with a shotgun. Was like, "Get that gun! Put that gun down! How dare you point a gun at my wife?" He was yelling at her. He went to shoot at her. She jumped. She ran. She ran upstairs, locked herself in his room, and jumped out the window and ran. Hurt herself when she jumped out the window. So the phone never got turned back on. The phone is gone. So then that's when we see the next episode, which was episode number 6, is where we meet this investigator. And all these murders in these different towns and cities was looking just random, like they had no correlation to one another. But actually they did. And that's when she goes and she investigates. She interviews the girl that got stabbed at Marissa's party. She interviewed Marissa's mother. And at this point, in this episode, the people who played the parts in this episode look totally different from the actress. Like they're different people than the actresses that have been playing them in the other episodes. Kind of like to make it seem like these are the real people. Like all these things happen for real. Now, granted, some of these things happen in real life, but these are definitely not the real people or whatever. So, oh, excuse me. That episode is this investigator going from place to place and investigating everything about Dre. And she goes back to the foster care place and talks to the social worker there. And the social worker is like, people slip through the cracks. And that's the same thing the investigator feels. Black women slip through the cracks. And she said, I'm not going, they had asked her something about Dre. And she was like, I'm not going to give you all the detailed information on her. I'm not going to exploit her like that. y'all trying to clear your own conscience. Because if y'all would have did right by her and make conditions better where kids don't end up in situations like these that where they would end up in foster kids, things would be different. So the investigator never. She said we tailing her, and we zeroing in on her, but we haven't caught her yet. So then we get to the final episode finale. In this episode, we see. I thought the child was biracial, but she was just light skinned. I think it's the same girl who played in the movie Dope. Was Shamik? What's his name? Shamik. I can't think of his last name. But they played in this movie Dope together. But the guy Shamik, he also played in the Netflix show To Get Down, and I think he might be playing on the Wu-Tang series on Hulu too. But Drea is by another car she done stole from somebody. We find out she done stole all these freaking cars. She raids when she kill people. She get immediately hungry. She raid their cabinets for all the snacks and stuff. She just eat a bunch of snack food. She don't like to eat regular food. She see the girl and a white girl. I thought that they was prostitutes, but they couldn't get in their Uber. They was drunk. They was college students. She offers a ride. The girl say no at first, but then she takes her up on a ride. They go up to their apartment. The white girl is undressing in the courtyard as they're getting up to the apartment. She's naked by the time they get up there. So as I was saying, they get up to the apartment. They throw the roommate into the tub so she can just pass out from drunkenness. And then they go into the living room, and the girl's name is Rashida. She asks Dre. Dre introduces herself as Tony. Now Drea is a stud with her hair cut in a temp. We used to call it temp hair in Baltimore, temp tape. With that line up and all that, and this shade faded on the sides. She asks, can they exchange numbers? And Dre is like, I don't have a phone. So Rashida writes her number on a piece of paper, gives it to Dre. Next thing you know, we see Dre. I guess, I don't know where she walking from, but she looks, and the police are in her car, or the car she stole. So she runs up in this, like, almost like a Starbucks type of place. And they say, you want to buy something? She, like, ignoring them. And then Rashida spots her, and they talk. And she like, you never called me. So they talk, and they start a relationship. She starts living with Rashida and everything. Rashida takes her to go meet her parents, have dinner at her parents. The parents are played by the guy who, I remember him, he played in The Five Bloods. He was also one of Olivia Pope's boyfriends on Scandal. And Cree Summer was the mother. They was happy that she brought somebody home, but the mother was doing a little bit too much. She was overly excited that her daughter brought somebody home. So then they go home, and some more time go by. Rashida comes home from work one day, and she tired. She just want to go to bed. Drea/Tony like, oh, dang. Well, I was going to surprise you. We going to the concert tonight. So she gives her the card, and she opens it up. She was like, it's front row to see Naja. And Rashida's like, I don't want to see Naja. I told you at the beginning when we first started talking, I can't stand it. She not all that. She can't sing, and people just look up to her, and all you doing is paying for some concert tickets and making her richer than what she already is. And then that's when she started going into, you don't have no money, you don't have no job. I'm the one that's working. I'm working 2 jobs, taking care of us, keeping this roof over our head, getting you food to eat and all that. And you come into some money some kind of way, and you use it to go and buy tickets to this concert. And when she started going in on Tony slash Drea, it mirrored the same argument that Drea and Marissa had in episode 1. So now I'm wondering, and the whole time I'm watching the series, I'm wondering if when that night that Marissa passed, Drea supposedly was dressed up real cute in something that Marissa would normally wear. She was dressed up in that and went to the club and met this guy and then went home with him and woke up at his place the next morning. And when she went to charge her phone, she had all these missed calls, messages, and video chats and everything from Marissa saying that, you was right about, because what happened was they ended up getting in an argument about Khalid. Um, Drea had told her he cheats on you because he came on to Drea. When Drea watched them in the beginning, the first episode at the beginning, Drea walked in and was watching them have sex. And he saw her watching and he got turned on by her watching. And then later on that day, when they went to work, she was covering for Marissa and he came and showed up at the little kiosk and told her to come with him. He wanted to pick out something for Marissa. And that's when he told her that he got tickets. They was going to go to Atlanta. They were going to drive to Atlanta together. And she was upset about that because one of the nights they was going to be in Atlanta was the same time that the concert was going on. And she knew Marissa was going to choose to go with him and not go with her to the concert. So she comes, he also mentions, you like what you saw, you don't have to be a virgin forever, and all that kind of stuff like that. And, like, I got a homeboy I could put you on with, but really he wanted to be the one to have sex with her. And she felt uneasy, and she went back to the kiosk, and saw the kiosk, the people had vandalized it and stole from the kiosk. So she ended up losing that job, and I think she got Marissa in trouble too, because Marissa was supposed to be there, but she was supposed to be covering for her. Marissa picked her up, they get home, they argue, and then that's when she tells Marissa that Khalid ain't no good. He cheats on her and all that, and you always pick them kind of guys. And she was like, we need a break from each other. I'm going to move in with him. And then the way they was living at, it looked like one of them places that's really a hotel and people turn them into apartments and live there. That's what it looked like. They get into the argument and she run down how she did all this stuff and living in these conditions just to help her out or whatever. She don't have to live like this. And at that episode, I'm like, oh wow, you don't? Like, what could you be doing? Because she wanted to be a makeup artist and stuff like that. Fast forward to episode number 5, we find out why she had to look like that. The parents had money. She came from money, a good upbringing. She didn't have to live like that. But anyway, they get into that argument. She tells her that she is going to move out with Khalid. They're going to go on that trip. They're going to move out. She said, but I got tickets to go see Naja. She said, I'm not going to see Naja. I'm going with Khalid. And we need a break from each other. We're going to move out. And I'm going to move out with him. And you just going to be by yourself for a while. Learn how to do for you and take care of you. It's going to be good for us. And that's all of a sudden we see her going out and meeting that guy and going home with him. And then waking up to the missed calls and stuff from Marissa saying that, you was right, Khalid is a cheater, we got into an argument. She go home the next morning and she land on the bed not moving. She's dead. When she poured it over, her lips and stuff was blue. Now, I didn't catch this, but somebody else said in their review that it was blood on the pillow. I didn't see the blood on the pillow. But by the end of end of the series, I do realize that when we see her doing certain things, is because we seen it from where she's at in her mind, but it's not actually what's going on in reality. So in her mind, Her and Marissa got into that argument. Marissa got in the car and drove off. She lost the apartment and all that kind of stuff. This was all episode 1. She goes to Khalid's house. She tried to go to the funeral. She goes to the funeral. They say they don't want her at the funeral. And at that time, I was like, why would they not want their own child at the funeral? Because they kept saying they were sisters. But come to find out, they were just foster sisters and not blood related. So they could push her out the funeral. She left there and went to Khalid's, asked him why he didn't go to the funeral. He said he just couldn't do it. He said we got into an argument and it wasn't even that deep for her to do this because she had a cut down her arm right here that they showed in the first episode. So I'm guessing that that cut is from one time she tried to commit suicide, and that's what was implied is that Marissa died from suicide. But no, based on how the series ended with episode 7, Dre killed Marissa because Marissa wanted to move out, and like I said, in her mind, they got into the argument. Marissa got in her car and left, but in reality, Marissa never left in her car. She bashed Marissa fucking head in the back and left her on that bed, and then got dressed up and went out with the guy, or maybe none of that never happened at all. And she just woke up the next day and went to her room and she was dead. Because what ended up happening in episode 7, when her and Rashida got into it, and Rashida was saying the same exact things to her Marissa said in episode 1. She choked her out, killed her, took her to a field and burned her alive. And when she did that, she realized she left the concert tickets in her pocket. And so the concert tickets got burned up. So she tried to go to the concert still. She go to the window. It was like, I had tickets. I bought tickets to the show. They was like, well, what's your name? So she said it. They said, all right, let's show me your ID. She ain't got no ID. So she couldn't get them. She backs away. Then she sees the white guy scalping tickets. Like, I got tickets. She said, how much? So she goes with him to his car to pay for the tickets. He told her $5,000. She kills him, stabs him, takes the tickets, goes to the concert, gets up on stage, charges at Naja, get pulled away by her security guards. In her mind, Naja said, let her go. Here, you take the mic and you sing. And she gives her the mic and she look at her and look at the crowd and say, I love you, Naja. And then the crowd erupts in a roar. And then it shows her and Naja leaving the show together. Her get in the car with Naja and riding off. And that's the end. To me, that's why I said this was told, except for the episode with the investigator, this was told via her imagination and her world inside her mind. It's told from her POV inside her mind and not what happened, what truly happened in reality. The show was crazy. They put all that stuff about all the things that had happened around the time of between 2016 and 2018 with Beyonce. Because I do remember, I thought it happened when they was in Africa. They did like this big music festival in Africa. I thought that the person ran up on stage there, but no, they said it was here in America. And they were saying it was a man, but really, they saying it was, they made it seem like, knocked over my coffee. They made it seem like the Dre character, or the Dre character, committed all these different crimes and things, or incidences that many different people did in reality. It was cool. I'm not sure if it was a limited series or not, and they're gonna do the stands of another person in the future, but it was crazy. It was good. Y'all should check it out if you haven't. Donald Glover, you did your thing. You always doing some weird-ish. And you make sure to put the medicine in the candy, so to speak. So the messages that was there, which is the medicine, was in the entertainment, otherwise known as the candy. And it held up a light to the stan culture and how they go wrong, how they become obsessed and crazed. I think it was a way for them to look and see, like put up a mirror to their faces to see how they act. And maybe they'll change a little bit, relax, hopefully. But there's been another review. I hope y'all enjoyed it. And I'll see y'all next time. Get in the comments and tell me what y'all thought of it. If you've watched all 7 episodes. I'm about to go and finish binge watching the Queen's Court show. I really enjoyed it because I enjoyed Nivea. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.